Eating healthy meals can be a difficult task for me at times, especially when my office is above a 7-Eleven. Because I work full time, there will always be days where I eat out for all three meals. So let's take a look at one of those days. For breakfast, I'll go downstairs to 7-Eleven and get one of their local mocos. The 7-Eleven local moco is pretty standard. There's about 2 scoops of rice, 1 well done egg, 1 hamburger patty, and that's all swimming in brown gravy. Let's take a look at the nutritional information. There's 565 calories, 22 grams of fat, 7 of those grams is saturated fat, 3 grams is monounsaturated fat, 284 milligrams of cholesterol, 719 milligrams of sodium, 61 grams of carbs, and 29 grams of protein. So after working for a few hours, I'm starting to get a little hungry and start to wonder what I'm going to have for lunch. Somebody says they'll pick up from KFC for whoever wants to order. Awesome. I figure I'll have a chicken pot pie. Nothing too big, but something to hold me over till after work. So let's take a look at how healthy a KFC chicken pot pie is. It has 790 calories, 46 grams of fat, 37 grams of that is saturated fat, 95 milligrams of cholesterol, 2,120 milligrams of sodium, 66 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fiber, 7 grams of sugar with 29 grams of protein. So after work, I decide to go to a movie with some friends, and after the movie gets out, we're all hungry. But it's late, and not that many places are open, but Zippy's is. So we all head over and have a seat in the restaurant. Looking over the menu for a few minutes, I decide I'm going to go with a surf pack. Let's see the nutritional value on this guy. There's 1,440 calories, 62 grams of fat, 20 of those grams is saturated fat, 340 milligrams of cholesterol, just 4,940 milligrams of sodium, 107 grams of carbs with 2 grams of fiber, 19 grams of sugar with 104 grams of protein. So now let's take a look at my totals for the 3 meals I had today. If we compare what I ate to what the daily recommended values are for a 2,000 calorie diet, the results are not good. I consumed almost 800 calories over the daily recommended values. I doubled my fat and protein intake. I went 400 milligrams over the recommended cholesterol amount. As for sodium, I almost tripled the daily amount. Serious health issues can arise if I eat this way on a daily basis. The amount of saturated fat and cholesterol I consume can increase my levels of triglycerides and low-density lipoproteins, which can increase the amount of body fat I have over time and lead to plaque deposits in my bloodstream, which will put me at a higher risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, heart attacks, or strokes. Because I am sitting at my desk all day, I am not effectively burning calories or sweating, and my sodium intake is 10 times as high as the USDA's recommendation of someone at rest. The high level of sodium intake can lead to hypertension, water retention, and increased calcium loss in my urine. If I continued with this type of diet, the negative health effects would begin to snowball as I get older. Let's see the difference if I were to prepare my meals at home, where I could pick and control exactly what goes into my food. Let's say that I went to Safeway the night before I had to go to work and purchase the ingredients to make the meal myself. For breakfast, I would make a version of the local moco with a salmon patty instead of a burger. Salmon, which has omega-3 fatty acids, can help me lower the risks of heart disease and Alzheimer's and prevent inflammatory and autoimmune diseases. Instead of using a sunny side up egg, I will use scrambled egg whites and will be using a half cup of brown rice. For the gravy, I will be making it with a low-fat chicken broth while throwing in some onions and mushrooms for flavor. Let's look at the homemade local moco. There's 294 calories, 8 grams of fat, 1 gram of saturated fat, 20 milligrams of cholesterol, 337 milligrams of sodium, 43 grams of carbs, with 3 grams of fiber, 3 grams of sugar, and 19 grams of protein. The chicken pot pie at KFC is loaded with preservatives. For my lunch, the homemade version will be getting rid of all of that while retaining all of the flavor by using fresh vegetables. This recipe is less than half the calories and less than a third of the amount of sodium in KFC's chicken pot pie. Here's the breakdown of the homemade chicken pot pie. There's 318 calories, 16 grams of fat, 5 of those grams is saturated fat, 43 milligrams of cholesterol, 668 milligrams of sodium, 27 grams of carbs with 2 grams of fiber, 4 grams of sugar, and 15 grams of protein. For dinner, instead of heading over to Zippy's after the movie, my friends and I will head back to my house for a much healthier home-cooked meal. The Surf Pack probably had the biggest change because it was the least healthy of my meals. To find a replacement for Spam was hard, so I cut it out completely. Instead, I added broccoli to the terry beef and reduced the amount of rice to half a cup. I think fresh broccoli is a pretty good trade for the Spam. As for the fried chicken, I decided to grill boneless and skinless chicken. Here's what the healthier Surf Pack looks like. There's 267 calories, 9 grams of fat, 2 grams of saturated fat, 65 milligrams of cholesterol, 1,043 milligrams of sodium, 24 grams of carbs, with 1 gram of fiber, 9 grams of sugar, and 25 grams of protein. Comparing the fast food and homemade versions, you quickly see the large differences between the two. All of the homemade meals have less than half the amount of calories, much less fat, cholesterol, and sodium. Consuming foods with lower cholesterol levels means you will reduce your risk of having plaque buildups develop in your bloodstream. The homemade meals have a staggering 6,000 milligrams less of sodium than their fast food counterparts. Lowering those amounts means having a lower chance of developing heart disease, hypertension, high blood pressure, and reducing your risks of having a heart attack or a stroke. While fast food may be convenient, eating it on a constant basis will negatively impact your health. Homemade meals may require a bit more work, but are much healthier and more cost-effective in the long run.